Difficulty? Strenuous. Oh, come on. It's all downhill. How hard can it be? Well, as it turns out, I decided to walk down the steps to follow the descent of Amicalola Falls, and as it turns out, the descent was brutal. Certainly not the hardest hike I've ever done, but certainly not the easiest. And to be fair, there was a family with 4 children, the oldest of whom was maybe 6 years old, who hiked down and then back up again. But it's one thing to be young and fit and full of enthusiasm, and quite another to be old and slow and full of ineptitude. The other 3 members of my group went off to take their own photos and to set up our picnic lunch down near the bottom of the falls. We'll get to the rest of the descent in a moment, but first, some scene setting. Amicalola Falls State Park and Lodge is located in north-central Georgia. Attractions include the 729-foot-tall waterfall for which the park is named. There is an 8-mile connector trail to Springer Mountain, which is the southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail. The lodge has amazing mountain views and a beautiful lobby. Out front are a couple of fairy gardens. You can walk down a trail from a parking lot to see the falls from the lower observation platform. It's a relatively easy hike to a great vantage point. Watch for this old truck on the uphill side of the trail. But I wanted to walk down the whole way, so I did. I stopped periodically to get some photos. I was slow partly because the steps kept flip-flopping between the upper and lower parts of my bifocals and were never really in focus. I remember my dad having this complaint when he got his first pair of bifocals 50-some years ago. I was young and thought to myself, it must suck to get old and frail. Now that I'm here, I can say, not so much. But in retrospect, it did suck to be young and foolish. I got to the bottom of the steps and thought, huzzah, I made it! Little did I know that the steps made up only about half the descent. The rest was on a paved trail sloped steeply enough downhill that my feet were jammed into the toes of my boots. Am I glad I hiked down? Absolutely. It was scenic, and I always find peace in the sounds of water in the wild. Was I eager to turn around and hike back up? Not an option on this day, but I'll give it consideration next time I'm at Amicalola Falls State Park. I'm Rich Reese, and I'll see you out there. My thanks to those supporting my efforts. You can do so on a monthly basis through Patreon or with a one-time contribution through PayPal. Links are in the description.